Mr. Johnston, today we've been listening to many speakers talking about the dry bulk shipping and mentioning the Cape-size ships as to the threats and opportunities that they are actually facing. What is the outlook for 2018?
Our view is that the market's been on a recovery path for more than 2 years now, and we see that continuing through the rest of this year and into 2019. The supply-demand fundamentals are pretty positive for this year, definitely. Probably got the lowest level of new building ships coming into a fleet in maybe 15 years. And that gives it good structural support, and you need demand to do the rest, and we see that happening.
One of the points that has been discussed inside the room was that the order book is less than 10%, which seems to be a very optimistic point, if you like. Just a comment on this.
Yeah, I think the overall order book can always be a slightly misleading figure because you need to look at it on a sector-by-sector basis. And certainly on the smallest size vessels, on the geared ships, the handy sizes and the Supramaxes, the order book really doesn't look threatening at all. Just natural demand growth should absorb what's there. The area of most concern is probably for the Cape sizes, where there's a large number of very large ore carriers that have been contracted against long-term COAs. And the question that faces the Cape size market in particular is what happens when those ships start to deliver over the rest of 2018 through 19 and 2020, because that really has the potential to change the demand-supply dynamics.
Can you actually make any predictions as to the Cape size boats?
I think we see the Cape size market peaking in 2019. I think by 2020 the impact of those very large ore carriers will start to be quite heavily felt, and they'll start to displace a lot of the existing vessels off their current trade routes. Of course, the unknown quantity, in a sense of its impact on the market for 2020, is the impact of a low sulphur fuel, and there's been a lot of discussion as to whether we're going to see a lot of slow steaming, and if that does happen and all vessels do go slower, then it will help absorb some of that excess capacity.
Discussions have already been made about either scrapping some old boats and not building new ones. What do you think the effect of this will be in the overall market?
The question of where does new capital get allocated is always the key thing for determining the length of a shipping cycle, and there's always going to be money coming into shipping and people looking at acquiring assets. And really the key question any ship owner or wannabe ship owner faces is, do they buy a new building vessel, do they go to a shipyard, or do they put their money into a second-hand vessel? At the moment, there's actually quite a large price spread between a new build ship and a second-hand vessel, and that, from a ship owner's perspective, is positive because it means money is perhaps more likely to go towards second-hand tonnage and prevent this flood of new buildings that we've seen in the past. 2013-14 was the opposite. A lot of money came into new vessels, and that really was what took the rug from under the feet of the shipping market through 2016.
New regulations regarding the eco-friendly ships are actually coming into place, and the question is, will all the shipping industry comply with it, or are we actually facing a new challenge here?
I think with regards to the low sulphur legislation that comes in 2020, I think compliance will be pretty high. There's different ways of enforcing it as well through the sale of bunkers and testing by port state control and flag states. And I think compliance will be high, particularly at the bigger end of the spectrum on the Cape sizes, which is under the control of a small number of shippers, and they're managed by a lot of the large mining companies. They have a corporate social responsibility to be seen very visibly to comply, and I think that will enforce compliance in an industry which doesn't always fully take these things as strongly as they perhaps should.
Also a comment on the Capital Link today's event?
I think it's another excellent forum. There's a great range of panellists, great topics to speak on, and obviously some very high profile guests coming, so it's a pleasure to be here again.